if you're lucky enough to go out detecting, sometimes you find some really nice artifacts, and you may have an iPhone or an iPod Touch with you at the time, and you want to capture the detail. But as you can see with the camera lens on the iPod Touch, for example, you can get reasonably close to some recently found objects. This being probably a late medieval Tudor candlestick, which is very interesting. Come back to that, and a medieval penny. But if you need to get into the action, you need really to modify the camera in some way. But I do this. A few people have asked me. I just simply go to a junk shop and just buy a really cheap telescope with a few lenses that you can remove. This one is an example of a simple lens from a cheap telescope, which it's not very thick, but it will allow you to get within a foot of a subject. Generally, the thicker the lens, the closer it'll get. So if you were to tuck this in front of your iPod case, in between the case and the lens, you would actually get quite a high magnification within probably about 4 to 5 inches. I will demonstrate that shortly. As you can see, this particular one is from the objective lens of a very small telescope or a pair of binoculars, and it's called a doublet because it has a colour corrected pair of lenses which are bonded together, and this will give you a little bit more high fidelity video. If you're downloading on the internet, obviously it's not too critical, but if you're doing HD like I'm going to demonstrate, looking out the window today, you get the birds are singing and the sun's out, so you can use available daylight. But if you don't have available daylight, you will have to resort to using the old-fashioned blue light bulb, which you can buy from photographic shops. Plug that into your light and or your bedside light, and that will give you about 60 watts of artificial daylight. Okay, let me show you. If you was to slide this in front of your front iPod, then you will instantly get a little bit more of a close-up, which is ideal for showing this rather interesting late medieval candlestick holder. I only found this the other day. I didn't film it because I didn't have anything with me at the time, but what is really interesting about this, you'll probably just about see inside it, there's actually an extra part which I'm guessing is either an extension, it could be like a portable candlestick holder, or it's for removing the old candle when it's burnt down. Because if I demonstrate, give it a bit of a bash, and the actual thing shoots up, and it would actually fire the old candle out of the old holder there. So quite interesting in itself. And say the lens allows you to get that close, but worth recording because I haven't seen another one of those. If you want to get a typical metal detector fare, would be a medieval penny. Say with this particular lens, this is another recently found Henry III long cross penny, but this particular lens will only get to within about 8 inches of the coin, and thus it doesn't give you a real close-up image. So what we do, we simply pop that lens out the camera. It's a bit like going to the opticians really. And then you can slide this one here up between the iPod and the case, and this will give you something a bit different, because this will get within a couple of inches, as you can see. There's that for detail. You have to really hold everything pretty steady when you're doing this, because you get like a lot of wobble. As you can see, it's a Henry III long cross penny. On the reverse, it's quite well struck. You have an iron of Lincoln, which is not the most common of the long cross pennies, but it's in beautiful condition. Found it the other day. So if you are using an iPod, or if you're lucky enough to have an iPhone and a few old telescopes, rip them apart and get making some videos on YouTube, because you know, you can make yourself a few shillings for a few pounds, or if you go in a charity shop you can pick these parts up for next to nothing. So get out there and experiment. I will go back out in the fields and see if I can find some more bits and pieces for you. So let's crack on. Thank you very much.